Okay, so the Uncanny Valley. So, how many of you people actually know what the Uncanny Valley is? Awesome! So cool! Nick, what's wrong with you? So the Uncanny Valley is something that really fascinates me as both a software engineer and somebody who really likes robotics, like most of you people. It refers to both robotics and animation, and it refers to how likable a person is to a robot, or something that isn't human. So you have things like Wall-E who have personality, who aren't in, sort of that, human sort of android-like stance. And then you have C-3PO, and he's pretty, annoying, but he's pretty chill. He's not very, intimidating or anything like that. And then you have this. And that's scary. That just does not look right. It kind of looks soulless. It kind of looks like something that you just wouldn't want to see, but apparently Japan does, so... yeah. This is the Uncanny Valley, as found on Wikipedia. It has its little dotted line for moving things, which is a bit more exaggerated, and its line for not moving things. And so here's how familiar we associate with it and the human likeness. And so you have things like here, which is an industrial robot, which, we don't really, like it. We don't really, familiarize with it. We can't empathize with it. You have stuffed animals over here, which sort of peak, and it's like, yeah, stuffed animals rule. And you have humanoid robots over here, like, C-3PO maybe, maybe not. And then you have down here, corpses and zombies. Those are not cool. They are unsettling. They're unsettling because we recognize that they're kind of human, but there's something off-putting about them, that they're not quite how they should look, that they're just, the little offset that they have is so distinct when we're looking at it that it doesn't feel right. So going a little bit beyond robotics, as I mentioned before, there are zombies and just the off-puttingness of how they're kind of human but not anymore. They're just not like people. They're kind of dead and not alive. And so when their jaws are falling off or something like that, that kind of, allows a little introspection. It's like, that's a bit creepy. A little bit more on the Uncanny Valley beyond robotics, which is what it originated in. There's animations in video games. You have things like the Polar Express, which a lot of people criticize for falling in the Uncanny Valley. It just did not look right. It did not look humanistic. And then there's hyperrealism, like in The Adventures of Tintin, which a lot of people thought really did go beyond that dip. For some reason, I found a reference to Mitt Romney, and I can't believe that this is actually there. But some people actually found Mitt Romney to be so, I don't know why exactly, but the reference was sort of that he's kind of like, he has all these properties that make him, human and perfect, but they can't bond, we can't, associate human likeness to him. We can't bond with him. And it really brings a lot of context to this image, actually. So, yeah. So back on the Uncanny Valley. We're still really trying to get across this dip, especially for animations and video games. We're really trying to push that and make it so that, we don't get freaked out when we're looking at a character moving, or, when it comes to robots, at something trying to approach us. We were comparing it to other likenesses of things. I totally was prepared to talk about what's on the next slide, but I can't see it. What is on the next slide?
I don't know.
Oh, video games. Okay, so when we're comparing other things that aren't like robots and humans and what we're looking at, we have things like motion controllers, and they seem really weird, and that's because they are familiar. We're doing these actions, but we can tell that the system isn't recognizing it. We can tell that it's a bit off-putting. Our body is like, this is not right. This action which I'm doing, if we're playing a Wii game, it's sort of like, that's not the exact motion I'm doing. We're doing it again and again. And it's unimmersive and it's really jarring. It's not like actually running. and sort of to bridge that gap, it's going to take a little bit more in that technology, but it's a perfect example of the uncanny valley, how we sort of pinpoint unfamiliarities and sort of exaggerate it. The road for the technological advances for the uncanny valley is really, really interesting. It's really fascinating, and hopefully, as we progress with more integrated technologies like the Google Glasses or computers in our cars, which we kind of already have, the GPS, but things like even Siri, it really offers some introspection on how we view technology, how we view human likeness, and the uncanny valley is a really awesome way to explain that. I hope that you've ascertained some more understanding through this PowerPoint, and if you have any questions, you can ask them now.
Just wondering, any comments on the CG Young Jeff Bridges from Tron Legacy? Do you think that made it past the Uncanny Valley?
That
or
did
got
not.
caught in?
As far as what I've heard, that was a perfect example. I couldn't quite find an image,
It was
and I
creepy.
haven't actually seen that movie. I know. But from what I've heard, that was like a really, really obvious, like, hitting the bottom. I just thought the Mitt Romney example was more funny.
I'll give it
Beckham.
Remember from that movie that looked pretty realistic, they zoomed on his face and you could tell it just wasn't moving right like a human would, and it was creepy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pinpointed there. If you guys haven't seen it and want a good example of the Uncanny Valley, I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Why all the C-3PO hate?
I think C-3PO is pretty chill. I didn't, I could have put like Jar Jar Binks or something, but
Okay.
I thought C-3PO was chill. He doesn't reach that peak of human likability, but he's not gonna freak us out on any given day. At least he doesn't
I don't
freak
know
me
about
out.
that.
He's a pretty chill bro. Any other questions? Questions? Anybody? Any comments? Anybody want to say that? Surprisingly, this talk actually went a lot smoothly, even though I gave the other one before. I've never given this talk ever. I was completely unprepared and made this like 20 minutes before. And my mouse is dying. Oh dear God. Okay. So that's all. Thank you guys for coming to the MicroTalks on behalf of Steve and all you people. I hope that you have learned more about the Uncanny Valley, and I'm glad you were able to attend.
You're welcome.